From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome in to the most ridiculous podcast in sports and pop culture. I'm Bobby. He's Brandon.
Hey-o.
You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open a cold beer and let's get after it.
Do it. Let's do it.
We got a, well, I'm excited about this one. It's called Brian Boru from Three Floyds.
I think it's Boru.
Boru. Yeah. It's a pretty good Irish red.
Yeah, it is. I like it.
Yeah. But all right, today we're talking Stanley Cup Finals coverage. We got some news from inside and outside of the league. We got our joke of the week, and we've got some more. Don't forget to check us out on What a Maneuver and Patreon to support the show. How are you this week, bud?
I am doing well, brother. We had a fantastic live show recording at Tailgate. I had a blast. Thank you for Tailgate for having us. Thanks to
it was an amazing time.
Thanks to Trey, the general manager at headquarters, that really showed us a good time. And obviously, thanks to Zach McCann. And thanks, Paul. Yeah, we appreciate the McCanns coming out and giving us a really good time and a lot of good discussion.
Yeah, we did our first beer side chat with Trey and Zach, and that hit YouTube yesterday as of release. So check that out on our YouTube page. And the episode with Paul and Zach will be airing a week from today. We are off next week. We'll be on vacation, so check that out.
But we're never really off.
We're always working. They got a few breweries up in Baltimore. I've heard. We'll be doing something at a dope place called the Ministry of Brewing, and wherever else we are, we'll be drinking some beers and getting and doing some stuff.
On my birthday,
yeah.
By the way, yeah, bro, the big dirty 30. So I think we got to quit the podcast after that because one of us is officially old. So old people don't do podcasts. We got to stand on our front porch and yell at children that are coming onto our lawn.
Yeah.
Well, not you. Me, though. I have to.
Well, I've already been doing it. I mean, people will hear about that on the show.
That's just a general. We got to do that. So,
all right, let's jump into the news.
Everything you need to know about what's happening on the ice. It's time for news from inside the boards.
The Lightning currently lead the Habs 1-0. By the time this episode releases, it'll probably be 2-0.
And my lead will have increased in the fantasy pool.
Yeah, I had about at one point almost like a 40-point lead, and then
I think it was like at 60 at one point. And I told you, I said, I'm coming for you. I'm gonna make it a game.
Once the Avs got knocked out, and then Vegas got knocked out, I knew that you've got Braden Point and Vasilevsky, and I've got Palat, Hedman, and Sergachev, and they can't. The firepower isn't there.
And I have Weber and Petrie.
Yeah.
So those are kind of supplementing. Obviously, not getting me the point level that the other two are, but I mean, it's and if they keep winning, if Tampa keeps winning, I don't think there's any way I do lose. Because
I would need Palat and Hedman to just get a lot of goals. I mean, points always going to be there getting points on them.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, just the way that our goalie scoring is, if they keep winning, it's darn near impossible for you to. Hey, man, anything is possible. I'm just glad that this is a lot closer than it was last year going into it.
Yeah.
Where it was close going into the final, but Davey had just so many more players than you left. Whereas, I mean, it could go either way for either of us.
Yeah. I think Davey's completely out of players, isn't he? Or does he have one or two? I think it's Carey Price. Maybe?
I don't know, but even if he had a bunch of players, it is not helping. It's not going to help. He's like 200 points behind. I thought we were recording last week, and so I don't know if you saw this, the pool score update I have now. You know how it feels, Davey.
But all right, so Nashville to get Stadium Series versus Lightning at Nissan Stadium, February 26th. We'll be there. It's going to be a great time, even though it's at Nissan.
Even though it's at Nissan, we're gonna move past it. And Sass was talking to me about how it was lame. And I was like, it's awesome that we get an outdoor game. I mean, I think he made similar points to what we've made. It would have been super awesome if it was in Knoxville or playing Carolina at Bristol or something. I'm glad. Look, I mean, we both have so much going on now. That I'm just glad I don't have to make a weekend trip to Knoxville or something for the game. Yeah. So I'm pumped about it.
And I think that I'm good. I hope they don't, but it looks like they're going to do like a Titans color scheme Stadium Series jersey, because on the leak, all the Preds players are wearing Titans jerseys.
That might be pretty cool, though.
Yeah, honestly. I'm torn on it. It depends on how they do. It's either going to be really cool or
guess you're not a Titans fan.
Well, I think the Titans have the best colors in the league. I love that powder blue. I mean, powder blue is a great color for
the powder
sport.
Blue with like the red sprinkled. I'm kind of excited about it. So I think that it's a cool idea.
I love the juxtaposition of the powder blue and the dark blue on those uniforms. They look good.
They should do like an indoor game. I guess they do with football because they have domes. I guess they do technically do some indoor, but they should play like a football game on like a baseball stadium or something.
I thought at first you were saying for hockey. I was like, yeah, I mean, most of the games are inside.
No Raiders.
But all right, the Wild vs. Blues World Cup is scheduled for
the World Cup, huh?
The Winter Classic.
It's going to be a terrible World Cup this year because they have two hockey teams playing.
Yeah.
Man, we really wanted to go to that.
I mean,
it's just, it's not out. It's not out for sure, but it just is just not, I don't know, lining up time wise with everything that we have going on. We're really trying to pump up the podcast, and I got the wedding plan. I'm the main portion of the wedding planning.
Yeah.
Because you guys have all known me, and got to know the right flowers and napkins and such. So we're not going to say not going, but it's leaning like we're both probably not going, unfortunately.
Hurricanes have deferred their Winter Classic. It looks like the stadium that they wanted to have it in is not up to par yet. COVID really set them back, and clearly a bunch of Hurricanes fans did not understand the things at hand, that it was the team that deferred it, and immediately started attacking Nashville and Tampa and the league.
You said Nashville's getting sued, right?
Yeah.
By some random guy.
Some random dude was like, Nashville better be prepared to get sued.
The guy that is talking about hockey Winter Classics on Facebook and or Twitter, wherever he happened to say that, something tells me he probably doesn't have the money to retain attorneys in order to
specifically
make this,
that his reason for doing
happen.
it was that not like it was very. You could read it. It clearly our kid wrote it, because it was like, this is my last time of being able to see an outdoor game before I leave for college. It's like, what am I supposed to do now?
It's like stop being poor, buddy, and just get a plane ticket.
Yeah. Or just, I don't know, do what all the other Carolina fans are doing. Just not go, or drive up to Nashville to see a game.
Just drive. Yeah, just drive. I mean, we flew to Dallas To be fair, though, we weren't in college. So that's, I guess, the difference there is he's going to be studying over the winter break. And so,
the 2022 All-Star Game to be in Vegas. Man, I kind of want to go to that.
I am leaning more towards wanting to go to that. Yeah. Not wanting to go. I want to go to Minneapolis again. Yeah. But we've been there together to see
the All-Star Game in Vegas could be, and it's 2022. That could be dope.
Do we count that as seeing the stadium? I say we check it off if we get to go to the stadium.
If we're there for the All-Star Game, then yeah. If we're just, in Vegas,
then we got, man, they got to make the call then, buddy. I mean,
I think the answer is yes, we're going.
Stephanie, Megan, it's work, okay? Yeah. They really don't like us saying that, by the way. That anytime we just want to get really drunk, we just say it's for work.
Yeah.
They don't take to it as we do.
Yeah, just because it's not a 9 to 5. I mean,
we working all the time. We're doing it for free. We're trying to provide for you guys. Is the thing. That's what they don't understand. Is we're not at all trying to just funnel beers. This is our job now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's frustrating for them. They just don't support. They just don't support our very real careers.
Gary Bettman made some comments about the officials in the NHL, and it went kind of how you'd expect Gary Bettman to go. His quote is, "Let's be clear. Our officials are not only the best hockey officials in the world, they are the best officials in any sport."
That's like a really low bar.
Yeah.
Though.
He went on to also say that they rarely make mistakes and that the mistakes they do make are overblown by the media, and that if you were to just sit back and actually look at what they do, they actually almost never get anything wrong.
He's completely right. And I'm, did one of his officials happen to say on a hot mic that he was gonna give a team a penalty no matter what happened because things were getting out of hand? Sure.
Yeah.
But it was blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
I
bet if Gary Bettman was in like Seattle right now, he'd be saying, "Oh, it's only like 1 or 2 degrees above normal," even though it's 120 degrees in Portland, Oregon right now.
He is, well, to be fair, Portland, Oregon is in a different state completely. Right across the border, but it is a different state.
Well, I was using that region. The whole region's in a heat dome right now. Yeah.
Wow. You don't just get to throw regional weather data out here, okay? You're not the Weather Channel,
I couldn't think of a
Bobby.
city in the state of Washington.
Seattle, maybe.
Seattle could work,
maybe the city that you're talking about.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I am. He's he likes to downplay things. He is my second favorite person to boo behind Roger Goodell. And I've got to boo Roger Goodell in person, and it was as awesome as you expected it to have been.
I got to boo Goodell in person once when he was at a Preds game. I think you were there too.
I was probably there. I
Yeah.
booed him multiple times. I guess I had no idea. We booed Bettman at a
That's
Preds
what I
game.
mean. Yeah, we booed Bettman in person. Yeah.
Well, when the draft was in Nashville, I got to boo old Raji.
Yeah.
So it was unfortunate that he didn't have his lazy boy. But this past draft, I do hope they continue to do that and bring his lazy boy to every draft and let a fan sit in it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins re-signs with the Oilers with an extension for 8 years, $5.1 million. That is, considering the changes that are happening to the Oilers, I think that's a pretty cheap deal for him.
That's a pretty good deal. Now that leaves them with, after McDavid and Draisaitl, that leaves them with about $300,000 for the rest of the team.
Yeah.
So, it was a good deal for him. A good deal for the Oilers. Good deal.
Honestly,
I think
with
he got a
that
little
money for the
underpaid.
rest of the team, they'll probably still be really good. Like, it's worth it for those 3 players.
Well, up until the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You think the Oilers care about the playoffs? What
playoffs, buddy?
What have they done to make anyone think they care about the playoffs?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing. That was a really, really good signing for them. I mean, there was a couple years where RNH, it did not look like that was going to be an experiment not an experiment. He got drafted there. It didn't look like it was going to be something that worked out. But he has really stepped up the past couple years. And I mean, he's a young guy. So we'll
I like
see.
him in fantasy. I tend to have him a lot in fantasy. I usually get him around the 3rd or 4th round. I think in a couple of years, he's going to start creeping into that 2nd round area.
Well, and Zach, we've been talking down on the Oilers and their playoffs, and Zach McCann on both the live show and the Beerside chat made such a good point. You're bad until you're not in this league. And I mean, the Tampa a few years ago when they had this big, wonderful roster with all these superstars and they couldn't win a playoff series and they got swept by the Blue Jackets. The sky was falling, and it's the worst thing that's ever happened to a team. And then they won, and now nobody remembers that. And same with the Capitals. Capitals when they'd won 2 President's Cup, and then they couldn't get past the hump, and then they win a cup, and nobody talks about those President's Cups anymore. So that could be what we kind of gave way to that when we talked about the Oilers and their early exit.
Yeah, I think that that works for a lot of teams. Don't think it works for Toronto. Kind of like I said on the show. Like I think
they're cursed forever.
Yeah,
they're cursed forever. But everybody else, it could possibly be a good option for them. So we'll see where the Oilers happen to be. I mean, McDavid's 24. I mean, it's not like the guy's
He's
an
okay.
old man. He's fairly okay at hockey. I mean, I'd say
a little bit better than a beer leaguer.
A bit. I mean,
The NHL awards tonight, as of recording. So the week that we get back, we will be doing our I think that you blew me out of the water this year.
I'm thinking I did too. And if Vegas would have gone and been able to win, it would have been a no-brainer that I won.
I haven't even checked.
But Barkov did end up winning the Selkie, right?
Yeah,
which was my switch.
I think you win that. You won that. You won the Rocket Richard. I think that right there. And I think some of the small ones you got as well. I think the only one that did you have?
Well, I had Connor McDavid both times, so I doubled up on points on that because you did Draisaitl then McDavid. So we'll have to go back and do the point calculation.
Yeah,
but
I think non-ceremoniously you get the W on that. We will give you the official win when we get back.
When we get the official win, Vasi, there's no question, right? He's got to win the. Win the Vezina, man.
For regular season, it was him, Fleury, and who else?
Grubauer.
Ooh, Grubauer.
Yeah, but he didn't play as much as Vasi.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Vasi got.
I'd have to see the stats again because really, it comes down to the stats. And I believe Grubauer had more shutouts, and I think this year there was some rumor that shutouts are going to be more important than other. I could be wrong.
Excluding last year. You know, if it was all things in a vacuum, I would say you're right. But we all know that Vasi got robbed last year, the Vezina. Yeah. And I think that factors into the voting process.
And I think, but at the same thing, it could also be said that Flower, it's his first nomination. He's getting old.
Yeah, but he's never been robbed of a Vezina.
Yeah.
I mean, Vasi, for all intents and purposes, got absolutely
honestly,
robbed.
I'll be honest.
Year.
I think that I don't think there's ever been a year where all three of the goalies up for it. There is a good argument that they could all get.
I would not argue. It's not like last year. Vasi didn't absolutely dominate these three like I felt that the other two that he did last year at the other two, where I legitimately think he's robbed. If he doesn't win, there's a really good argument. Although I feel like the bottom of those three is clearly Flower to me. I think that Grubauer I agree. Really good. I think it's Vasi,
but only
Grubauer.
By a little bit is he the bottom of the three.
Sure. I mean, it would be cool to see him win one. I mean, I guess it turns out that his agent is an idiot, and him pretending to get stabbed in the back by a large sword actually turned out good for him. But I mean, it would be cool to see him win one for Vegas, but I think that either the other two, it's a very clear one of those two over.
I think that
Flower.
I think that when we're talking about off-ice stuff, that really does affect. I think that when they look at the at Fleury stuff, when you talk about a guy who has such a he literally went from being vulnerable in the expansion draft, being drafted, getting benched, getting his job back, getting benched again,
doing a sweet tweet.
Yeah, he's gotten benched almost 3 times in his career, yet he keeps coming back and saying, "Hey, I'm the guy. Like I am." He has been to the Cup final once. He's won cups in Pittsburgh. Then he got benched from Matt Murray. Then he comes back. And obviously Pittsburgh kind of threw him to the wolves. And then he shows that he's still the guy. Robin Leonard comes in, and then people are like, "Oh, well, Fleury's done. It's Leonard's." And then he comes out, and the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, he looked good.
He did. I'm not.
If Vegas were to go on to win, he was an easy Conn Smythe. If Vegas were to go on to win,
I agree with that.
And then obviously that was just an absolute failure on the team's part.
Who, I guess, since you've brought it up, you have an early Conn Smythe favorite. I think.
Braden Point, right?
Braden Point or Vasi. I think one of those two.
Yeah, I think that how these next couple games go. I think if it's like last night, Vasi. But if the Habs can get some scoring going, I think Braden Point is just.
They can make this a series. Yeah. It could be. It's hard to
don't
argue
see how
with
next season Braden Point is not the second or third overall pick in fantasy pools. I mean, obviously, you got first. Whoever gets Burke gets stuck with Connor McDavid. But Braden Point has now shown 2 years in a row he is an animal.
14 goals, 9 assists, 7 power play points, 3 game winners.
I think he's on a 10-game point streak right now.
Yeah, I mean, he is lighting it up for sure. I stole him from you guys.
I'm kind of happy if I get second place, or because then I don't get stuck with Connor McDavid next year in fantasy pool.
Well, no, I would not.
No,
I'll get third.
No, Davey
pick.
would.
Oh, Davey
yeah,
would.
I'm not getting stuck with him next
Yeah.
season.
Because I mean,
unfortunately, you still have to take him.
If I got first pick next year, I'd take him again. You know, that's the thing. I'd take him again.
And the crazy thing is, we could just say no, we're not taking. Because at the end of the day, even if Connor McDavid plays like Connor McDavid, Braden Point showing that. I mean, Connor McDavid, even if he was playing like Connor McDavid, would be on par with what Braden Point's doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's
and it really comes down to just honestly, while fantasy pools are very much individual efforts, if your team doesn't win, guess what? You're not there getting points.
You're not there at that next level. And he has to have been of our fantasy pool the steal of the draft.
100%.
I stole him. It was like he was almost forgotten after what he did last year. And I mean, everybody had good teams this year except for Davey.
Yeah.
But seriously, it's one of those that Colorado advances one round further, and you are
by far
so far ahead of me that it's hard for me to catch up.
Even if they hadn't had such an epic collapse, even if they'd gone a good 7 games.
7 games in the series, yeah. Agreed.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
This really blows my mind. This is even allowed to happen. Lamar Jackson to get contract extension, but only with the help of his mom. He does not have an agent, and he will not have an agent. And people were rightfully irritated about this when he got drafted. But you know what? When you're a rookie coming into the league, getting a rookie contract is a lot simpler.
Yeah,
easier.
because it's like there's set parameters.
So his mom, who from when I did research, she's not a lawyer. I don't believe she does not have any things with this. This is, this is not okay. That the Players Association should not allow this to happen. That he doesn't have any form of representation. The PA steps in and says, "No, Lamar," because what it does is it makes it harder. Fine, he can make his own choices, but what this does then is everyone knows that, especially with quarterbacks. High-profile quarterbacks, every contract affects other players. It goes
throw that anywhere, bud.
I'm mad.
He's pissed off about this.
It affects other players, so it's not just about him. Listen, I like Lamar Jackson, all right, but this is not smart. He should know better.
Have you heard his interviews? He doesn't seem like the smartest guy around the block.
But there were enough people around him. You've got coaches, you've got agents around him. Somebody needs to step in and say this is not okay.
I guess that's where I disagree. Is that how many times have we seen this situation where the guy gets screwed over because of an agent?
Yeah. Listen, no, I'm not saying that it's the perfect answer, but I don't think this. And I'm not saying I
think he's a grown man and he can make his own decisions.
No, yeah, like I said, I'm not saying he's but
you heard it here first. Bobby hates freedom,
but at the same time, this choice doesn't just affect him. And
yeah, but that's irrelevant. It does just affect him in terms of him. He's not worried about every other quarterback.
Listen, he can do what he wants to do, but at the same time, if I'm a teammate, I'm not happy with this. I don't like this. I mean,
I see. If I'm it goes. These are there, and when it comes to professional sports, they're your teammates, but they're also your coworkers. And so if if my coworker doesn't want to negotiate with an agent, who am I to say that he's wrong? And I mean, right off the bat, it doesn't matter what he gets 10% more than he was going to get.
He gets, it's 3%. The agents get 3%.
Well, whatever,
But I mean, listen, it's one of those things where I get it. If he doesn't want to pay that extra 3%, but right off the bat, I mean, many people have already said that he's probably going to miss out. I mean, on a good bit. Because, I mean, and here's the thing. His mom has already come out and said things that she probably shouldn't have said publicly. Like,
should we go and find him when we're in Baltimore?
Yes.
We're about to go. You want to fight him?
Yeah.
We're fighting. All right. Lamar Jackson, you heard it here first.
I'm fighting his agent.
He doesn't have one. It's his mom. It's his mom. We're going to fight Lamar Jackson's mom. All right, lock it down. We already have like a pretty full schedule, but I can find a spot in there for you to get beat up by Lamar Jackson's mom. That'll be a great birthday gift for me.
We're going to be in a bar. We're just going to hear a truss. I'm like, oh.
that, dude. Well, yeah, see, Lamar, I don't know her personally, but Lamar Jackson's mom seems like the type of lady that's going to roll up into Cat's Eye when you're taking a shot of Jameson and just cold cock
And here's the
dude.
thing, I would love to be proven wrong about this. I would love to just come out and be like, you know what? He actually got a great deal because there wasn't as much bullshitting from agents.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, I will come out and say, you know what? I was wrong.
I like Lamar Jackson. I don't want him to get a bad deal, but I disagree with you in saying that it's irresponsible. I mean, it may be. But
what I'm saying, I'm not saying it's less irresponsible on his part. What I'm saying is more irresponsible on the Players Association to not at least attempt to step in. And you know what? Maybe they are behind the scenes, but I would think that knowing how this league works and how the Players Association works, they would be
the Players Association is an offset of the league itself, though. You know, I would almost not trust that.
Not since a couple years ago when they actually started putting players in charge.
Yeah,
and,
but
the head of the
seen,
PA.
Yeah, but you've seen the past two CBAs that the players have basically given up.
Yeah,
everything that they 90% actually
of players
wanted.
Don't even read it anymore.
Right, given up basically everything that the players actually want that are good for the players because they'll say we'll give you an extra 2% here, you know, and they get tricked by this, by what seems like more money, but it's more a minuscule amount that is not,
and they keep throwing in more games.
More games that we ultimately know, especially in football, game totals is what really kills people. I mean, literally and figuratively. You know, I mean, I would like to see what the deal is. I agree with you that we could come out and see that it's good or bad, but quarterbacks for the past few years have been absolutely decimating teams that they pay a huge contract level and then they can't bring anybody else in. Whereas a guy like Tom Brady, who's won now 6 Super Bowls, took a more hometown team discount and let Bill Belichick bring players in around him so he could actually win. So,
but then he did the opposite, went to Tampa, got a huge contract, and won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So Tom Brady's just showing that he's Tom Brady, and you know he's
well. I mean, there was a great team in place that was a quarterback away from a championship, in my opinion. Anyway, so I'm interested to see what it looks like overall.
Seattle Mariners Hector Santiago, first pitch rejected with the league's new crackdown rule of foreign substances. Not as in a HGH, but you know, sticky stuff on your hands.
My thing is, have they even watched the Mariners play this year? They should require those pitchers to use that stuff.
He claims it was just rosin that mixed with his sweat, and that once and the glove has been sent to New York for identification, and both him and his coach have said that once it comes out that the league will be made fools of. Kind of ballsy to just come out and the way that they're being pretty ballsy coming out and speaking against the league like that.
This country in baseball is wild to me. It's so wild to me. You remember when there was like whole congressional hearings and stuff on steroids?
I will say, as a kid, I didn't really understand. Even as an adult, I still don't understand.
You don't understand it, but you at least understand what was happening and like how ridiculous was that our congressman that we voted on had Roger Clemens come on in. Like, come on in, Raj. Like, what's up, Raj?
I do remember as a kid thinking, like, so what happens? Is he gonna go to jail for this? Like, what happened? Is Congress gonna decide you're ejected from the MLB?
Right. Like, you know, like
he's going to Guantanamo now.
Yeah, like what are they gonna hit him with perjury? Like they don't even hit people with perjury on real issues.
Yeah.
Like you know, like Rafael Palmeiro just like kicking it in there. Like,
the Astros, nothing.
It's like, so we pay your salary. We didn't at the time as children, but our parents paid their salaries and stuff for them to just like get to meet their heroes and stuff. And just like, you know, like I'm a Red Sox fan. I'm about to rip Clemens, dude. I'm about to shred him in this hearing, dude. Like it's crazy to me. Baseball is like the wildest thing. And then there was like legitimate like cheating involved that like a World Series brings a lot of money to your city tourist wise. Nothing, dude. Beep, beep, beep,
That would be like if you and I were congressmen and you're like, we need to have a federal hearing about Orlando Bloom. And so we're going to have a 7-day meet and greet. I'm sorry, interview with Orlando Bloom.
Oh, did I say that? We're going to call him Peter Jackson, Elijah Wood. We're getting this going again, okay? Did I say getting it going again? I mean, we're investigating.
Yeah.
What they did in New Zealand.
If it gets past us, it might go to a House vote about filming more. I mean, about redoing. Yes, we're filming more.
No. At this point, by the time we're able to become congressmen,
bro, we're 30. We could be congressmen. There are many congressmen younger than us.
Sure. No, but I want to be a senator, dude. I don't want to be like a House representative. Okay, I want to be like one of 100. You know what I'm saying? I guess I could still be a senator, but I mean, I couldn't. I mean, I've been talking on this podcast for about a year, and eventually people are just going to release their public content.
We need to make a video of like you sit down with like a your spinner and it's like, all right, so what skeletons do you have in your closet? It's like, oh well, let's
could we just to save time?
These aren't even skeletons; they're public records. They're I recorded them and released them.
Actually, just to save time with you, because you seem like you cost a whole lot of money per hour. Can we just talk about what I don't have skeleton wise? Like, I don't like small children. You don't have to spend that. Like, I don't like small children.
They're like, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to change that D to an R. Good to go.
We're in. I'm in. I'm elected.
So Santiago could face a 10-game suspension and the team would not be able to replace him on the roster during that time frame. He also could be cleared of any wrongdoing once the glove is further inspected. He is the first pitcher ejected under the new rule. Santiago, I guess it copied twice. So yeah, I was like, that seems very long.
Actual admitted cheaters, nothing. This guy gonna have 10 games. Now, it's always funny to me when pitchers get like extended amounts of suspensions. In that 10 games, he was only going to play like 2 games anyway, but he gets to count the rest.
Because he's like a super vet. He's been in the league for like almost 16 years. So I mean, I don't think.
And he's playing for the Mariners. Yeah. There's been 6 no-hitters this year.
That's a vacation for him.
That's like, and then like 3 of them have been from the Mariners. Like, this is not a team in which there's actual.
And they've been the victims of those. They're not the ones
They're not the ones getting the no-hitters. Yeah. He's not throwing no-hitters, okay? I mean, Bob, any no-hitters?
Nope.
I'm still on. You had made a funny comment that I didn't think was so funny. We're going to Camden Yards for a night game, which is super dope. Thanks. Shout out to your mom for that wonderful birthday gift. It's not Paula, that one's for you. It's not behind home plate. It turns out that it's actually better. We're in the club section where we have a waiter. Oh, yeah. Okay, so way better than anything that could happen. I'm super pumped. But then you made the ridiculous comment. You said, "What if a no-hitter happens?" And that was the 7th one this year. And I don't know how you could ruin my birthday more, but making me lose this bet to you on my birthday would probably be the worst thing.
The only thing worse would be because there's probably more games happening. If that one is, or if right before that one ends, if the 7th one happens earlier in the day, and then that's number 8.
That would make it worse. If it doesn't happen while we're at the game, that's one thing. It's gonna suck to lose, but like to lose this on my birthday.
If 7 happens as we're going in, that makes the stakes a lot higher.
It does. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Baseball.
I would like, I need this to be a boring game.
Baseball matters. Yeah. Okay. No, honestly though, I'm joking around about this being the worst thing. To see a no-hitter in person would be, forgetting if I lose this water bet or whatever, that would be amazing, dude. Yeah. Either way, either side of it.
If craziness happens and it happens, can we cash out the water bet there at the game?
I hope we do.
Okay.
I mean, even though it won't be the winner.
Well, I'm just saying, if the crazy happens and there's one early in the day.
No. How about this? Even if it happens while we're at the game and it ties it, I'll let you water bet me, and then you get the rest of the season. But then I get a water bet back
if it doesn't.
hit.
Okay. Yeah. 100%.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm interested. And
if it doesn't go to 7, then we're back to the original thing.
The original bet.
Yeah.
If I honestly at this point. hope it happens. That'd be sick, dude.
Yeah,
that would be
dope.
super
Worth
sick.
it.
Yeah, that would be super worth
It's not,
it.
honestly, I mean, that'd be cool if it was during the day, because then it's like, oh, it's so hot. I need a nice little drench.
Well, it'll still be quite warm at night. But, dude, I am just so pumped. I've been to Camden Yards. What a fantastic
I've only been twice,
stadium.
and it's been out like in left field.
And I was right by the third base pole. And it was such a great experience. Camden Yards is one of those that, I mean, it's Fenway is that mecca of baseball that everybody wants to go to. Yankee Stadium is that mecca of baseball. I think it's really hard to say Camden Yards doesn't rank up there with
it's a great place.
The building out in the right field, that it's like an old building, and that's where the Orioles offices are, but they've left like some of the windows busted out and stuff. It's just such a cool everything's brick. Like I'm just so excited to go to that. So seriously, Mama Paula, thank you so much. I'm super pumped about getting there to Camden Yards for a night game. That's one of the coolest things in baseball.
Yeah. All right, moving on. I think we're just kind of talking about our tailgate live show.
What's something you learned from the live show, bud?
Oh man, that I love that Prosecco cider, bro. I did not think I was gonna like it at first, and it was very good. It was not like a lot of other ciders.
It was super good. And what I didn't try that both my mom, shout out to my mom, my dad, your mom, my sister, obviously our fiance and wife that came. Super shout out to them for coming out and supporting us. I don't know how. You guys have known us for a long time. So, I mean, that's it. That's the most impressive part about us, is that we still get people to support us even after they've met us.
And even my wife's on the fence about it.
I agree. Trey did such an amazing job of lining up those beers. And I agree that cider was really good. It was not not an Angry Orchard.
Yeah. That New England IPA also very good. And as a guy who doesn't like IPAs, it was a good IPA.
The Southeast IPA?
The one that was called the New England IPA. I don't know.
The other one. The art one.
Yes. Yeah.
Support the Nashville Arts
support
one.
the arts one.
That was super cool of them. They have been such a pleasure to have in the Nashville community, and they've done so much for the community. But one I didn't have, and I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'm sure Tailgate doing it makes it so much better. It was the one Paul was drinking, and my mom and my sister loved it, and they're not big beer fans. The pink lemonade. Yeah, beer.
I didn't get a chance to try that, but I'm gonna. Try
I didn't
next
either, and I heard it was good. I heard it was just like Tailgate does thing, where it's not overbearing.
Yeah.
My dad bought a 6-pack of the orange wheat, because he wanted to try it cold out of a frosted mug, and it's I mean, everything Tailgate does is vastly superior to most beers. I had such a fun time. I'll tell you something I learned is that the McCanns are Philadelphia fans, and were not happy, but gave me a little smack talk for me wearing my Dominique Wilkins Hawks jersey. They were not as happy about that as as I was hoping for wearing a dope jersey. They came in and they really embraced the recording with us. They were
great guests.
They were great guests, and it was. The chemistry was there. They're both professionals. So, and I mean, they came on with us and they really carried our slack. No, it was awesome, man. We had such a good time, such good food. That hot chicken pizza was dope. The pickle beer, super dope. I mean, always nice getting to try some peanut butter milk stout. We did a can you Kong it with the Imperial peanut butter milk stout. Turns out that you can, but it was rough.
Yeah,
it was.
Look for that. That'll be released sometime soon, and it was
heavy and it was hot. So
yes, it was.
But it wasn't as hot as we expected it to be. It was nice and windy, not as big of a crowd as we expected. Because steeplechase was happening, or as Nashvillians call it, people waste. So I had such a blast. I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah,
We got
we will definitely be back there. Or maybe we'll try and do like a D&D event there. Or maybe just, I'm part of the Mug Club now. So I think, and Tuesdays they have like $1 beers. So eventually we'll just have to start going up there after recording, get an Uber up there, come back.
Well,
and once you're in the new place, I'll have a nice place, little place to crash.
Well, they have East. They have Tailgate East, which is a lot closer to where we'll be. But I mean, I'm cool to go to headquarters or whatever. But very pleased. We got. You've been in contact with Mayday. We're gonna do something. I think you already mentioned with Ministry Brewing on my birthday, up in Baltimore. Going to Guinness on Sunday. Yeah. This coming Sunday. So what a fantastic event. I wanted to definitely thank them again for having us and being such hospitable hosts.
Sure. Don't forget, like we said earlier in the show, head over to our YouTube page to see the beer side chats with that. And the episode recorded there will be out next week. Let's move over to Joke of the Week.
The weird. Corey Perry. See, I don't like this. Wild. I think the first read was a good one. Now I'm overthinking it. Outlandish.
Each sixth chick sat on a stick. Little tongue twister.
And downright dumb.
You're kidding me.
It's time for the Joke of the Week.
Coming from sunny Los Angeles, a man who claimed to be a sovereign citizen. Every story that starts like that, it's going to be good.
It's always good.
Commandeered a house.
He doesn't respect the laws of this land because it's an admiral court. Okay.
The odd encounter began to unfold about noon when a woman who purchased the house in February and was planning renovations couldn't get inside because 4 men were claiming to have legal residency of her vacant property and had changed the locks. Newark Public Safety Director Brian O'Hara said in the statement, the woman called police and responded to requested the documentation from the 4 spots.
So it didn't come from, you said it came from L.A., but it was an L.A. man that was arrested in New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Is that what it read? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So this from New Jersey.
Why would the Newark police be commenting on
I read that. I was like, maybe there's a
California?
Newark County or Newark City in L.A. I mean, you never know.
I don't read the article either, Bobby, but at least I read the headline.
Okay. Into a vacant New Jersey. Okay. So this comes from not so sunny New Jersey. Which honestly, this is not uncommon then. This is just another thing.
This is another Florida man. This is the Florida man of the Northeast.
Yeah. Anyway, so back on track. The police asked them to show documents that they own the home. They could not, so they forced them out of the home. Later, the woman called a locksmith, and before the locksmith could get there, the men returned and and commandeered the house once again.
They were sovereign. Okay, we don't have any authority over them.
He used the key to enter the home before placing a Moorish flag in the window. That drew.
His name is John, by the way.
John. Okay, what was I saying? Was I saying
you weren't saying anything?
Okay. I was like,
we just hadn't said it.
Oh, okay.
They keep referring to the guy as John, not like they're his full name. Officers entered the house and arrested John.
Yeah, it's
weird. Not clear Thursday if John was still in custody. Like, it's very weird. It's very strange.
And his name is not listed in the Essex County jail records.
He's a sovereign citizen. We have no record of this cat. Okay?
That's insane.
I can just see this guy saying, no, this is my house. I'm not, this is not for commercial use. Okay? His name is not listed in Essex County jail records, and the spokesman for the Newark Department of Public Safety could not say whether the suspect was in custody or had been released with an ankle monitor.
Yeah. So honestly, there's a series of videos of people who claim to be sovereign citizens, and it is hilarious.
It is so funny.
They a lot of them, like, for some reason, instead of citing the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, or the Constitution, a lot of them like to cite the Confederacy rules.
That makes sense if we're being honest, though.
And they're like the Confederate Constitution says this, and like a lot of times, and like they've done it, not even the cops, so like to just regular people, they'll be at a store. It's like, well, actually, I don't have to pay tax because I'm a sovereign citizen.
My favorite part about the sovereign citizen thing is as if, because at some point it wasn't a law, then just like no new laws are allowed to be enacted. Yeah. It's like I am just
And they act like they're like, oh, well, I have diplomatic immunity. It's like, no.
You do not. I feel like you don't understand how that works.
And just because movies made it seem like diplomatic immunity makes it's a get out of jail free card, which sometimes for lesser crimes it is. I mean, that's not it's not how that works.
Or if you're American and you drunk drivingly murder somebody in England, yes. And in that case, yes, it is. But no, not here in America, buddy. Look, the cops are not even required to really know the law. If they're being honest.
Yeah, it's really funny. You're going in a lot of times dealing with the cops. You're like, oh, I'm gonna be smarter than them, and it's like, okay, well, that doesn't work.
What's the saying? You can beat the charge, but you can't beat the ride, buddy. Okay. Yeah. So, Moorish sovereigns espouse an interpretation of sovereign doctrine that African Americans constitute as an elite class within American society with special rights and privileges that convey on them sovereign immunity, placing them beyond federal and state authority. In addition to the Al-Moroccan Empire groups with similar beliefs include Free Moorish Nation and United Mashraka.
So, question, are they sovereign citizens or are they citizens of the Moroccan Empire? I'm very confused because they're claiming to be both now.
Morocco is a place. So, like either you're from Morocco and my thing is that the diplomat from Morocco probably not commandeering a home in New Jersey of all places, okay? Like you got all this immunity. And you go to Newark, New Jersey.
Have you seen that episode of Family Guy where his little plot of land mistakenly didn't get
Pretoria?
Yeah. It's like, I'm declaring war.
Yeah, Pretoria. He's stepping on the grass and stuff. He's like, can't touch this. He's like, and when he's talking about how Hammer can't sue him because he's got diplomatic immunity. Yeah, this seems a lot like, it seems like they had just watched the episode of Family Guy and thought they were watching a documentary. And they were like, guys, I know that we're living under a bridge here in Newark, New Jersey.
And you're taking a big gamble doing that in New Jersey, because if you do that to the wrong house where they have ties to a criminal organization, you're going to be not a citizen of anywhere.
Right. It turns out that the mob does not care about your sovereign immunity.
Because they don't call the cops.
They don't. And it turns out you don't actually have any contacts that would even know that you're gone. Yeah. So it's a terrible idea to, but it's, I'll tell you what is nice though, Bob. It's nice to get out of Florida every once in a while. Okay. Yeah. And I guess go to New Jersey, but I mean, we're not in New York with old James Dolan. Okay. And out of Florida.
Pop culture, we will be, Summer of Bond will return in 2 weeks. I forgot to watch the movie.
I only got like 30 minutes of it, but what I did watch, I'm very excited for George Lazenby's version. Okay. There was even like early on, there was like a comment.
Less rape?
30 minutes in, yeah. We're like 100% less rape than generally.
So only like 2 or 3.
but there was they did like really early on, like 10 minutes in, like George Lazenby looks at the camera and he's like, then this never happens to that other guy, so they kind of already made the joke that he is not the same 007. So
and
that's cool.
Because I know when we kind of had not an argument, we had a discussion about whether or not it was and he was thinking I don't think I've ever seen that one, so I couldn't quote that. Yeah. But I was like, well, the problem is there are so many, you get on, just say, oh, I found an article online. You can find an article online to go with either way. Sure. So, and I was trying to find the statement from Anne Fleming, who did say that,
because that's what I said. The only thing I would accept was from the actual guy.
Still haven't found the actual thing, but I think you said one of your family members did say that Anne Fleming,
it's confirmed. And so when I get, I didn't actually see the article, but I had you and I had them that were confirming it. And my future brother-in-law, huge.
George Lazenby confirms it.
A huge James Bond fan, and he has the whole box set. So he kind of confirmed it. So with multiple people saying it, they're not the same. They're just it's just a code name with the code number. Yeah. So
hit us with a question, buddy.
All right. Who is the worst group of fans? Alabama fans for me, no question.
Yeah.
Or Florida fans. Florida Gators fans.
Duke can be bad.
Duke basketball fans are rough. Kentucky basketball fans are rough. For sure. Alabama fans are the worst to me.
Ohio
because
State fans too.
Ooh,
because here's the thing.
that's so
At
tough.
least Alabama, they have all, they're arrogant, but it's like, okay, like they're spoiled. Ohio State, while they certainly have rings, they act like they're Alabama.
I can agree with that, and they've not been horrendous.
But I still think Alabama takes the cake. I mean,
Alabama takes the cake because most of the Alabama fan base to me have just become Alabama fans recently because they've started getting good again. If you told me you were an Alabama fan in the 90s, that's a rough time to be an Alabama fan, and I can, not respect it because you're still an Alabama fan, but I can understand. But Ohio State is a really good point.
UTK fans are also pretty obnoxious.
Yeah, I think they're more obnoxious because you live here.
Yeah.
And so you get a lot more of them. You go somewhere else,
but
and those fan group, the three fan bases that we just said are awful everywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Ohio State, Florida Gator fans, and Alabama fans are terrible
that's why
everywhere.
UTK fans don't make the top three, but as when you're local,
but you are very annoyed by them because you get so much.
Well,
of them.
it's just that, like, listen, other teams fans, if there's not, like, for example, Maryland Terrapin fans, we understand what we are. We know what we
everybody does.
We know our place. UTK fans, they never truly know what they are. It's always, well, this is the year. Every year it's the year.
Feels like 98.
It's like, guys, it was the middle of Butch Jones, and it's like, well, it's the year.
Do we have any other sports outside of college football that we want to highlight?
I'm trying to think. Yankee fans are pretty bad.
Yankee fans are the worst.
I don't know why, and this is I have no reason other than it just seems that way. But White Sox fans seem weird. It's like, why not
they
just
don't
be a
really.
Cubs fan? Like,
Cubs fans are the worst. So
I think both Chicago baseball
I think
teams.
It's a Chicago thing, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's see. NFL. Patriots fans are the worst.
I would say it's 50-50. You've got a mixture of Patriots fans.
Yeah, but like when you have 50% of your fans that are terrible,
for sure,
that makes you the worst.
Cowboys fans.
Cowboys fans are the absolute worst. Well above
there
Patriots
is nothing,
fans.
No matter what ESPN post or SportsCenter post or anything like that, or Fox Sports post you get onto, it could be about LeBron James like they most are, and you'll find, how about them boys?
Yeah. Yeah, Cowboys fans, I completely agree with. NHL, what do they have?
I don't know. I mean,
I would say Maple Leafs fans.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, especially for a team that has just not done anything, I would say Maple Leafs fans are the worst. Hurricanes fans are generally
creeping up there.
Yeah, they're getting up there for sure.
Ducks fans, the three of them.
Yeah, Ducks fan. All six of the Ducks fans, they're all pretty bad. I mean. The NHL fan bases are
Penguin fans.
At
least the ones that came to Nashville.
I think that's more of a personal thing for us.
Because we saw them when they came here.
Canadian hockey fans are, and if we just like blanket, Canadian hockey fans that think they're better than us.
Yeah, but with the, only because we played them a bunch of times and I've been to a bunch of those games. Jets fans, they seem very good. I love Jets games
because they're from Winnipeg, and Canada would prefer to not even claim them as.
They're very friendly.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I've not had a bad experience with really any group of those fans. I'm just saying in general. Yeah.
I've had personal issues with Lightning fans at games.
Lightning fans, Blues fans are generally, rough, but like when in person, Blues fans are fine. I've always had a okay. Blackhawks fans though are rough to be around, especially since we swept them. They really are not a pleasure to be around, but I think we've kind of covered the whole gambit of that. Lakers fans also, I want to throw Lakers fans in there as a good option.
Okay.
Knicks fans. Okay. Do you think there are more porn stars or murderers in the world?
Man.
Both are quantifiable, but I don't want to figure it out.
If you had asked me 3 years ago, murderer, with OnlyFans and stuff like that, porn stars easily.
I would say I think we're talking like you can't just show yourself naked on an app.
But they're getting money though. So what's the?
But they're not porn stars. They're prostitute light.
No. I mean, I think sex work is sex work, and I mean, OnlyFans, you're getting paid for work.
but then you're including all prostitutes.
But they're not actually having sex with a John, though.
Neither are a lot of OnlyFans people.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, I would consider OnlyFans, people who are OnlyFans stars, porn stars.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot more murderers in the world that we don't know about.
Yeah, true.
But I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go with porn stars as well.
Only because
if we didn't,
only because I'm an optimist.
Even if we didn't include the OnlyFans folks, I think porn stars.
I feel like I can Google this and find.
It's a new age. Okay, porn stars, sex workers. You got the you
type
take
it
the
in
cake.
Porn stars versus murderers is going to
That's
give me some
a very
weird
that's a
search.
really interesting call that you have there.
Yeah.
Okay. And while you're ruining your entire computer, I'm going to ask the next question. You have to choose 3 animals to start a zoo. Who are you choosing?
Okay. Narwhal.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I guess it will count as an aquarium. Can we have sea animals?
3 animals. Yeah.
Okay. Because then it's an aquarium.
Not like a fish, but you can have like animals that are like that are water aquatic.
Okay, so yeah, I was like a narwhal, I think rhino, and silverback gorilla.
Okay. I want to caveat by saying I don't want to start a zoo. I think that zoos are rough, but I would say giraffes, number 1. Number 2, penguins. Everybody loves penguins, dude, and they're generally okay in captivity. And then I want to go with gibbons. They always be swinging around and stuff. There was a couple of honorable mentions in my head that I had. I love the gorilla idea. You kind of robbed me of that. But there was a bunch that I was thinking about as a good option. Pandas. People love pandas. Any type of big cat. People like big cats. So there's a lot, but I love giraffes. I don't know if they were the best choice, but they're the most interesting animal on earth to me. They're so, how did that happen? I mean, that dude's 37 foot tall and it's 27 feet of it is a neck. How does that even happen?
All right, let's move on to what are you binging? We're going to be out next week, so we're doing it early. We both have same on one, but dude, watching some South Park lately. I got a little burned out of Family Guy and Cleveland Show to fall asleep too, so I started throwing on South Park, and I forget how freaking funny the early show is. The
early show and the late show,
yeah,
because they are so on.
Well, the late show got weird with you don't know is it. You don't know how many episodes are going to be in a season, and it's it got weird with always having a one plot line the entire season.
Yeah, that was weirder, but I mean they always are on point for sure.
Integrity Farms.
My show that I've been binging, and it is amazingly amazing. Ted Lasso, dude.
I've heard good things about it.
It is so awesome.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's funny. It has a point. I mean, Jason Sudeikis is awesome.
Is that the one where he is a soccer coach from America?
Yeah, he's a football coach that is now coaching in the Premier League. Okay, and dude, he is just so funny. Is
that on HBO?
It's on Apple TV.
Oh, I don't have that.
So sucks for you, man. Get up in the game. If you get a new iPhone, they'll give you 3 year free. So
maybe I'll hop on LimeWire and see if I can download it.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you just tried to look up porn stars versus murderers, so I'm sure that your computer is already infected by everything that. I'm half surprised
they didn't give me a celebrity death match of a porn star versus a murderer.
That would have been nice. That
show that they should bring back.
Bring it back, dude. I mean, with the new animations these days, that was a show. Well,
I think that they should keep the original animation if they did it. That would be.
It was claymation, right? Yeah, it's claymation. Yeah.
Oh, what a good show. But yeah, and I think we're both the same. I've been in the pool so much lately, just drinking some light beer.
We were both literally typing the same thing at the same time. Light beer at the pool, dude. I mean, I've been hitting the pool so much as well. So, yeah, I mean, you don't really drink heavier beers at the pool, man. You got to have some Coors Light. You got to be at least hydrated.
Usually I'm drinking the Corona Premier or the Mick Ultra Gold.
Yeah, or some Miller, or not Bud Light. We don't
Not
Bud
in this
Light.
house.
We don't Bud Light. You keep trying to talk about because we're getting the new studio soon. You keep talking about trying to bring your neon Bud Light.
It's not a Bud Light.
thing.
Is it? Oh, it's a Predator. Well, it's a Predator's Bud Light. But
but even so,
I think the other one is a Fat Tire.
Fat Tire's totally cool.
Or it's what's not Grey Goose, the other Goose one. The place we had the rep came when we were at the Fairways bar, whatever it's called. What is that? It's a craft beer. Something.
Goose Island.
Goose Island. That
one's cool. Even if it's a Predators one, bro, I'm not even sure I'm down having that in the Stoods. At least not on camera.
All right. Let's jump straight into what's snapping your stick.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
This is one, I mean, it's a lifelong snaps my stick at this point. Since the day I was born. Dan Snyder.
It's like a rule as a Washington fan, right?
This morning, we get word that there's going to be some news coming out about some shakeup in the ownership. A lot of things could happen. The one thing that did happen is the one thing that was the worst decision. His wife was named co-CEO.
The funny thing is that he drops this news story and Washington fans are just ecstatic about it and continue to think that it's going to be the only thing that could happen. And I'm not wishing death on anybody, but the only good news that comes from Dan Snyder's camp for Washington fans is that he is passed. Okay. That's the only point in which and even then, now his wife is just co-CEO. So she's just going to keep running the show the way she wants. I loved the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, how they made fun of the Snyder family. That's one of my favorite things. But yeah, I'm sorry for you. I switched my sports answer real quick because this is time sensitive. The Tour de France lady.
One with the sign?
Yeah, that took out the entire Tour de France, dude.
I saw that Twitter video right before we went on air at the place, and
you went. It was after you went. We went on air.
I thought I showed them right when we were about to. I showed Zach and them right as we were about to sit
then
down.
why don't we talk about it? Because
I think we just had so much to talk about, and we just didn't.
It was absurd. We're talking 6 people got away with not being a part of that crash, dude. It was ridiculous. Dude,
it makes it interesting to watch.
The tour. Oh yeah, I mean, no, it doesn't. But that part was funny. Yeah. I watched that part of the Tour de France.
Somebody should do that with NASCAR. I mean, it probably wouldn't work out the same.
Very different, I would have to imagine.
A lot more blood.
It was. My favorite part was, some people were getting out of it and stuff, but just the aftermath of it. I'm not happy, or I'm sad about all the folks that, got hurt. Some people had to withdraw and stuff, but it was so funny to watch them, the ones that were not trying to and it was, it just across the board, dominoes.
I want to see someone make an edit where it shows that, and then it shows a drone footage, but it's Godzilla vs Kong, and the streets are just bloodied, and a fire in the streets.
It happened if you're the biker, it happened on the right side, and then as it kind of stumbles through domino effect, the person on the left side, there were some fans that were not in the street that got absolutely wrecked, dude. But I mean, how ridiculous do you have to be? First of all, I'm not sure that I understand going and being a fan at the Tour de France.
Yeah.
You get literally 15 to 20 seconds of watching the event, and then it's all right, well, that was cool, we're done.
See, it'd be one thing if they were just overall fans of bicycling, they were at the local spin class, just yeah,
get it, boy, get it. It's that dude could Tour de France it,
And even that same lady runs into the spin class with a sign and just hits somebody.
The most exciting part of the Tour de France was, number one, when Lance Armstrong lost one of his testicles, and then number two, was the Sports Center commercial where he was running the Sports Center, the electricity. Yeah. And then number 3 was when he came out and talked bad about people doping and ruining the sport of biking. And he got in trouble for doping himself. So that lady, I'm not letting up on you. I don't know who you are. She fled the country. Imagine going to a sporting event and then having to flee the country of France, no less. Just I'm out. I got to go to Switzerland, know? And then my non-sports, and I'm sure you can latch onto this as well. We always plan our trips well in advance so we can, gear up the whole day. We had some nice 9:45 a.m. flights so we could get to Baltimore roughly.
Some morning burrs.
Get morning beers, get to Baltimore roughly before, noon, even with the time change type of deal. And then them switching our flights to 11:45 a.m. We want to get to Baltimore at 2 p.m. We have missed 3 hours of prime drinking time. Okay,
that's 10 hours.
We're trying to get drunk in the AM, dude. I can't do my traditional.
I'm sure our guests coming with us, your fiance and my wife, are pretty happy that we're not going to get there and immediately start downing beers in the morning.
We are, because now we're just going to be drinking. Because
we're going to binge drink now.
Normally we go to O'Charlie's and get we'll just have a drink and then we'll have one drink on the plane. But now we get to the airport and it's the wild, wild west, bro. I'm drinking 6 beers at the airport.
I think we're in a new area now. I think now there's actually a brewery little bar there. I think,
boom.
Yeah. So
Yazoo?
Yeah, I think it's Yazoo.
Oh, I've gotten beers there before, but now I'm getting 4 beers there. So this is your fault, Southwest. This is on you.
But all right, everyone, we will see you in 2 weeks. Have a great one.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.